So, as with all of the other paragraphs, when you're writing a conclusion, you can just write in conclusion, comma, or in summary, comma. That's okay. But if you can, it's better to write a sentence that just feels like you're saying that sort of thing, where it feels like you're wrapping it up. It feels like the end of the argument. So let's try this. In life, finding clear-cut examples of appropriate levels of endurance is difficult. Let me explain. So people talk about doing, quote, the best they can. And this is just my quote, as in people say this. You have to be careful how often you do this sort of thing, including a quote like, people say this. If you're going to do it, let's save it for just one kind of thing per essay. If you've got quotes like this all over the place, your essay will start to sound pretty weird. But I think this is appropriate for it here. People talk about doing, quote, the best they can, when in reality, they have only made casual attempts to succeed. I think that's true. I think people say that casually. Well, do your best. Well, you did your best. But truly, your best? I mean, people are capable of a lot, so the actual best you could do is a lot, and probably more than you actually did most of the time. Except in this case with the fisherman, he's bleeding, all of his stuff's gone, he's coughing up something coppery, he's truly broken. I think he actually did give the best he could, so we'll reference this. The Old Man in the Sea provides a potent symbolic guide to true striving. In the way Santiago continues, so after you've set this up, you want to talk about your 3 reasons again, or restate your 3 reasons again in a different way that's different. In fact, when I said it at the top, I already said in the way this, in the way that, so I need to phrase this differently so that it doesn't sound like a broken record. So I'll just make a list of independent clauses here. So Santiago continues to pursue his craft, comma. He does so with faith in a successful outcome, comma. And third item in the list, he proves that faith with the utmost intensity when adversity rises. So that old, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Santiago gives his most, arguably, when he faces his biggest challenge, fighting the sharks. And I want to say something else about these. So these 3 things are, let's have a positive here, comma, qualities that heroic pursuit requires as the price of glory. The price of glory. Okay, we'll italicize the title. So maybe I need to say one or a good one so that it transitioned better. Because earlier I said it's hard to find examples. By saying the Old Man in the Sea provides one referring to the examples that I was talking about in the previous sentence, that connects those 2 ideas better than if I just had the sentence by itself. But one is, it's on the border of being an ambiguous pronoun. It's sort of okay once, maybe twice per essay, but if you can avoid it, that's also better. So let's try this. The Old Man and the Sea provides a timeless example. So that'll work. An example of what we were talking about, of showing sufficient levels of endurance. All right. And let's just connect those sentences, make it a little bit longer, so that will help to not make it feel truncated. It transitions better if you connect the actual sentences. All right. In life, finding clear-cut examples of appropriate levels of endurance is difficult. People talk about doing the best they can when in reality they have only made casual attempts to succeed. But the Old Man and the Sea provides a timeless example of what the best they can might really mean. A potent symbolic guide to true striving. Santiago continues to pursue his craft. He does so with faith. We'll add that Santiago continues to pursue his craft after others have... Can't say quit again. It was the same way I phrased it before. Have accepted defeat. No, it's not that they've accepted defeat. Maybe they had great careers, but they're done now. They're okay with retiring. So let's say pursue his craft after others have accepted mediocrity. Mediocrity is just being okay with normal, being okay with average. Okay, comma, he does so with faith in a successful outcome, comma, and he proves that faith with the utmost intensity when adversity rises, qualities that heroic pursuit always requires as the price of glory. So you have to be really careful when using words like always or every or all, because you really have to mean it. If you say always, you don't mean often, you mean every single time. And in this case, I think that it's true. I think that people that are truly successful in life always have to pay the price of being devoted to something, wanting success continually, and putting in the extra time that other people don't. So I think this is a case when I can use it. And using those superlatives can be powerful if it's true, but if it's not, and you're not confident, then you open yourself up to attack. So be very careful. Most of the time, it's safe to avoid it. Okay, now I said save your title until the end. So that bit about the price of glory at the bottom, I wasn't even thinking about that at the beginning of the essay, but I think it's good. I like it. So now that's what we're going to call the title of the essay, and I'm glad I waited. Okay, let's read through this and make some final changes. Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea recounts the tale of a persistent fisherman who truly strives no matter how impossible his obstacles may seem. Santiago is presented as a man of extreme humility, but of heroic dignity. So I changed that to striving, but I'm going to change it back to do his best. We say strive a lot in here, a little bit too much. He is poor, damaged in many respects, and out of luck, but he carries himself with the pride of a man who strives every day to fulfill his destiny. I like that. Hemingway's tale outlines the way in which, let's see if we can get this to be a little less wordy. Hemingway's tale outlines how, that's simple, a noble life requires endurance in the way I'm going to change this to Santiago because it sounds like I'm saying Hemingway tells the story about how Hemingway continues to strive, but Hemingway's story is about Santiago, so let's just state that. We can use he for the rest of the sentence because now it's clear that we're talking about Santiago and not Ernest Hemingway. The novella's opening pages display how Santiago continues to fish each day despite the disadvantages that age brings. Santiago is still young at heart, still full of faith that he may catch a prize winner, and when the other older fishermen on the terrace, quote, made fun of the old man, he was not angry. Page 11. Peer pressure can be a powerful force, but Santiago does not consider voices contrary to his goal. He understands deep down that he was born to be a fisherman, and the impulse to look fashionable in front of others does not influence his choices. The quality of striving in the face of potential embarrassment is valuable and rare, but extremely important for growth. Sitting on a couch watching basketball may be comfortable, and an actual player may open himself up to laughter as he sweats running up and down the court. Let's say while. I think that makes a better contrast. But no glory is earned by the spectators. The first test of Santiago's endurance is passed here at the terrace when others are watching him. That's good. Before Santiago even has the opportunity to overcome his peer pressure, readers learn that he is salao, which is the worst form of unlucky. Indeed, the book's opening sentence explains how he has gone 84 days without catching a fish. His resolve does not waver, though. In fact, he shows evidence that success is still on his mind when he asks Manolin, "How would you like to see me bring one in that dressed over 1,000 pounds? Something, a hopeless quitter's a bit much here. It sounds like someone who's like depressed or something, but we're not comparing it to that. We're just comparing it to someone who's okay with quitting if the going gets tough. So we'll say something, a casual competitor, someone not really serious about doing glorious things, would be too ashamed to declare. In life, people are often as eager to look for excuses they are for success. Returning to the aspiring basketball player, average athletes feel sweet relief when a game is rained out or a practice is canceled. Santiago has plenty of reasons to throw in the towel, but his mind is keenly focused on fulfilling his glorious purpose. Leading a noble life requires precisely this kind of discipline. Okay. The most impressive exhibition of Santiago's endurance comes during his battle with the sharks. After the first shark attacks, the sense that Santiago knows that tragedy is inevitable, or the sense that Santiago knows that's a little bit confusing. We're using the subordinating conjunction that a bit too much here. It's not that we're making the pronoun move, but still, if you say that too much, it gets confusing. So the sense that he knows his tragedy is inevitable becomes clear as he considers the fish made a trail for sharks as wide as highway through the sea. But Santiago goes on to say to himself, "Don't think of that, just rest and try to get your hands in shape to defend what is left of him." He knows that the fish will be completely devoured and that nothing he can do will successfully prevent the disaster, but until the disaster is actually complete, he is fully committed to fulfilling his due diligence. He loses his harpoon, his knife, and part of his tiller along with the fish. And in fact, some of these resources could have been salvaged if he had merely given up. But the man is not a greedy opportunist like the sharks. He is a creature of nobility like the marlin. And so he fights until the battle is completely over, so that at last, when he feels something coppery and sweet in his mouth and spits into the ocean, he can declare outright, "Eat that, Galanos." We need to put that in italics, as it was in the book. "And make a dream you've killed a man." 119. The old man seems to be stating with confidence the knowledge that he gave everything he had to give and that he had earned his place among the noble lions by fighting to the end. In life, finding clear-cut examples of appropriate levels of endurance is difficult. People talk about doing, quote, the best they can, when in reality, they have only made casual attempts to succeed. But the old man in the sea provides a timeless example of what the best they can might really mean. A potent symbolic guide to true striving. Santiago continues to pursue his craft after others have accepted mediocrity. Comma, he does so with faith in a successful outcome, comma, and he proves that faith with the utmost intensity when adversity arises. Qualities that heroic pursuit always requires as the price of glory. This is kind of getting long. Let's add this and then separate the last sentence. He does so with faith in a successful outcome, no matter the odds, to make it clear that he has his mind on success even when failure is likely. And let's see, most of the time, especially when adversity arises, qualities that heroic pursuit always requires as the price of glory. Yeah, so period there. These qualities. These qualities are the heroic pursuit. Let's rearrange it. So heroic pursuit always requires these qualities as the price of glory. Heroic pursuits of all kinds. So I'm not just talking about fishing. But then we say always again. Maybe just one superlative. Now let's just rewrite it. These qualities are the price of glory in heroic pursuits of all kinds. It doesn't quite feel like the end, so I think I should add another clause to kind of say, and the old man did a great job. The end. Ta-da. Let's see. These qualities are the price of glory in heroic pursuits of all kind, and adorn the lives of noble in heart. Will that do it? Throw in that superlative, and will always adorn the lives of the noble in heart. I think that's true. Does it sound better, though? Okay. I think that will do it. Okay. Now, I'll come back to this in a day, and I'm sure I'll find some errors, but seems pretty good for now. All right.